Good evening, Tony.
Okay. Ready? I look at things.
Yeah, we are live.
Right, welcome everybody to this meeting of the full Haverhill Town Council on the 22nd of February, not the 26th of January as the agenda says. Right, we are recording. Yeah, sorry, don't laugh. We are recording this, so obviously usual caveats apply. And firstly, apologies for absence.
We have apologies from Councillor Miller-Jones, Councillor Fox and Councillor Roach.
Okay, lovely, thank you very much indeed. Declarations of interest and requests for dispensation from anybody?
None received.
Can't see anybody with their hands up or anything. Right, minutes of the meeting held on the 26th of January.
Do you want those on screen, Chair?
Yeah, can do, because I just want to quickly, on for item 4, we'll run down the things quickly. Can I have a proposer, please? Or have you got anything? Did you want to say something, Alan?
I would like to say that it's got the wrong date on it. It should say, or the wrong day of the week. It says held remotely on Monday. I think it should say
Tuesday.
Sorry, it says Monday, but it should read Tuesday, shouldn't it? Because it was moved. The date is right, 26, but I think it says Monday when it should say Tuesday.
That's correct. Thank you.
Yeah, I missed that one as well. I found some others, but I didn't pick that one up. Right, so then based on that change of that, could I see a proposer, please, for the minutes? That's Councillor Lucarini, seconded by Councillor McManus. All those in favour, please show. Lovely, thank you very much indeed. Right, moving on to item 4, which is the progress. We'll quickly run down these. 21/4, which is, we're obviously going to send an email eventually.
We have sent that.
Oh, you have sent it already? Okay, that's fine.
It's attached to the papers. The letter to the railway people was in the first tranche of.
Oh no, sorry. I was talking about the one to David Pennell. Sorry.
Oh no, well I've talked to David Pennell, and yeah, as expected to be a couple of months before he'll be free.
Yeah, that's fine. And then item B, Alicia sent the town council meeting calendar out, so that's done. Okay, item C2105, which was the letter which was attached. That's what I was getting confused. Hope you all like that. I did have a little bit of input into that. Basically giving our support to Rail Future on trying to get a rail link of some sort back to Haverhill. Quickly running down the PSPO, that's gone back. The C21006B, the pump track. Did you want to say anything else on that, Colin, or not?
Only to say that the pump track is currently open, and it was notably absent from Sergeant Gilbert's report prior to this meeting as a cause of any concern. Thank you to Councillor Lucarini, who is keeping an eye on things, and also to Jay Mills, who works with the Haverhill South People's Forum, for no doubt impressing very robustly to the users the use it or lose it message, to stick to the rules if they want that pump track to stay open.
Okay, so continuing down. So Alicia and Vicky, we had the railway benches thing, which I guess eventually we'll get some feedback on that, which will be great. Carrying on down, so that page 134 that was. see. 135, Colin. And that's apart from the appendices. That's it. Okay. Much. Moving on to item 5. Some of us had a briefing from the police a little while in private session. Anything else on the police side of things from anybody? You saw my in my report mentioned it as well. Can't see anything on there. Okay. Well, the 2 county councillors are not here, so we can't have any report on that. District councillors, anybody?
Oh, nothing really.
Councillor Dave Smith.
Just give a report on the ramp at the Licence Centre. Hopefully it'll be finished tomorrow, so that's good news.
Oh yes, this was the ramp to the Licence Centre, funded from Councillor Smith's district locality budget. So that's to enable wheelchair users to access the community centre under a new slope that's 1 in 12 rather than that. Well, I know a few people have attempted the what's really only a sack trolley slope next to the old steps, which have now been replaced by a shallow slope.
Yeah, thank you, Dave, for that. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, it was just around the district council are going to have a campaign. I think some district councils have seen this anyway, around dog fouling. Basically, they're going to run a campaign over the next few weeks. It is an issue at the moment, as a lot of you will know. There's been a lot more people out walking their dogs, etc. As usual, 95% of people are absolutely great at picking stuff up. Unfortunately, there's a small minority that don't, which does make a mess, for other people to deal with. So I've been pushing this at the district anyway. So they're running a campaign on it, and just hopefully everyone can take part in the campaign, push it out to residents, and try and get the situation eased a bit. There were some stencil type things that or PDFs that you can print out as signs. I don't know if we could get some of those potentially printed out by the council or not, and given out to councillors to put out in places around town which they sort of consider hotspots.
I can confirm that our parish handyman has been putting those up. We printed some off, got them laminated, and they've been put up around town.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for that, Colin. Yeah. Any spare ones for councillors to pick up if we need any?
I can get some prepared if councillors would like us to do so.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could, please. Yeah.
Okay, I've asked Sarah to print off some stuff about the census. So it'd be nice to get some stuff we can put on the notice boards, and I can go around and update the notice boards.
Okay.
While we're talking about notice boards, nothing on this subject. We still need to get rid of those survey signs. Those are the high street survey things that are still in those notice boards.
I'll get Kevin to go around and do that.
Sorry, before, did you have your hand up, Pat, first? Yeah, I saw you first. Yes, please. Councillor Hanlon.
Yeah, while Councillor Brown's here, I'll just want ask him for advice, really. The railway walk from Howell Road coming back towards the bridge to the overflow pond in Howell Road. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tony? Yeah.
Yeah.
Only that area there is very, very muddy, and was there a problem because you was involved with the other side of Howell Road, wasn't you? Getting that all done when you was a county councillor.
Taylor Wimpey did come along to our planning meeting, and they have agreed that as part of it's not section 106, but they're actually going to grant the resurfacing of that area. I think £25,000. So I think John will be able to verify that Taylor Wimpey have actually agreed that they're going to resurface from Howell Road up to where the tarmac starts, just by that little flood park area. So hopefully, over the next year that should be done.
Oh, brilliant! Because it's really bad at the moment.
Yeah.
It's so muddy.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people are diverting around, going up into Howell Road and round that way.
Yeah.
It just cuts off because people still use it a lot, especially now.
Yeah. No, it's something we're all working towards. We're doing it in sections, but hopefully that'll be done soon. Yeah. Cheers, Pat.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Councillor Marks.
Yeah, just a couple of things if I may. Just to let you know that you probably noticed that Pat reminded me, all of the flood parks are very, very full at the moment. And walking to a long railway walk, you'll notice also that one of the flood parks, and I think they call it the town flood park, the one near the school as you come up off Ratting Road, all the fencing has gone. And actually, if you've got children coming up there on a bike, they could easily just veer off it and go straight in that flood park. So I raised it with Damien yesterday and Christine at East Town Park. Damien has had photographs of it taken in order to get some fencing back there of some sort. And what he did tell me was that he's mapping all the flood parks at the moment with a plan to have them dredged, because I told him that they're all far too full and they haven't been dredged in years. So they are looking at that. I think we need to keep a handle on that, because if we start to flood houses again in Haverhill, all the insurances will be impacted as they were before, which will be really not good news for residents of Haverhill. And they really were. The one on Howell Road that Pat is talking about now was actually lipping the bank. It was actually, and that one actually hasn't, that one probably from a dredging point of view hasn't been particularly full of rubbish, but it was actually lipping the bank. So that's really, really worrying. And I have asked Amon Souza, I think you pronounce his name, the guy who does the waste locally, waste operative locally, if there would be any chance of sending out with the council tax bills a notice about fly tipping. I don't know whether they'll agree to it or not, but the dog fouling thing might be able to come in on that. And I think it's something we own these departments. We should have some influence over what they're allowed to send out. But fly tipping has just become an unbearable nightmare. And Chalkston, as you know, John, I had quite a challenge with them a couple of weeks ago where we've managed now to get Haverhill to pick up a lot of the stuff. But within days of having that picked up, about another 10 bags suddenly appeared. Fortunately, the residents saw the woman putting it out and they actually intimidated her into taking it away. So there was a bit of progress there. But I think we really need to be telling people what the fines will be. And if we could send out stuff, and again with Tony's dog fouling, with those council tax bills, a poster or a flyer, I think that would be really useful. But we do meet resistance when we're asking them to do this, and I think we need to remind West Suffolk Council, the councillors run the council, they should not be running us. So any support we can get from that would be very appreciated.
Thank you. Is there anybody else from a district council point of view? Any other councillors got anything to report? No. Okay, well, you saw my report, I think Sunday, I think I sent it out yesterday or Saturday, I can't remember. It's more than 24 hours ago. Any questions? I assume no questions on that. It was quite lengthy, I'm afraid. Councillor Dave Smith.
That's just more of a point, really. The Castle Hill school site. We need to keep an eye on how much rubbish is actually mud is coming off that site. I know they've tarmac part of it now, but for a while that road was getting very muddy and very slippery in the wet weather. So, who would we need to contact to?
Barley Homes.
Barley Homes, okay.
Davina House.
Right.
Best person. Yeah, as I said in my report, I've only just driven past. I haven't stopped and had a look at it or anything. So I was relying on you, Dave, and others to have a look. Anybody else? No? Can't see anything. Great. Members of the public, Colin, anybody?
We don't have any members who've chosen to join the meeting itself.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Item number 6, I didn't make it clear on when I was saying there's been no mayoral activities in the last month, so there's no report. Item 7, One Haverhill Partnership to receive verbal report from members of Clark. Colin first, anything?
I understand from the bid group that they have appointed someone, or they're offered the job and they're going through the appointment process for the role of town centre manager. So hopefully we will soon get an opportunity to meet with them. That's come up. The search for a new chair does continue. As you know, John Mayhew is seeking to step down. So if anybody knows of anyone who would be able to command the support and confidence of the board, it would be a good time to step forward. There's obviously, I think it's next month, there's an actual board meeting. So that would be an opportunity for names to be considered. It will be starting in March, starting in September, of anyone who's appointed in June.
I wasn't aware of that. Councillor Lucarini?
Yeah, just on the town centre manager, Heart of Haverhill had 25 applications for the role. They shortlisted 6 and then have since offered the job to Steve Dempsey, who worked for Hughes in Newmarket. So he's had some experience with the Newmarket bid. We're meeting with him, I think, next month, the Heart of Haverhill group. So I shall mention about meeting the town council as well.
Okay, anybody else on that subject? No. Right, moving on to item 8 Alpha, planning committee. We've got 2 lots of minutes to talk about, both of which were sent out late this afternoon, so I hope you've had a chance to read them.
Do you want them on screen?
Yeah, did you want them on screen? Yes, but yeah, I'm getting a few nods, Connie.
So this was one, this has already been approved by the committee meeting.
Yeah.
6th of January. We do notice the same day issue.
So rather than do 2 lots of excuse me votes, let's we'll just run through it, and if nobody's got any questions. Councillor Mason. You're muted.
I've got about 4 sentences out there, all muted. I just want to come in at the right time, Chair. I just want to pass comment on the presentation regarding the Persimmon 2B development, because I know you made some notes in your report. And are we looking at these minutes for that meeting, or?
At the same time, yes, we are.
All right, okay. So yeah, just time quickly passes by, and during the meeting we raised a concern about the roundabout and the bypass, getting that started, and there was a concern about birds' nesting seasons, and you know, I'm concerned that the planning committee aren't going to get another chance to talk about this, and it could easily be the building of for finishing off a roundabout and the starting of the bypass could get delayed. Do you remember that section, John? I just wondered if you had an update.
Okay, the update is basically refers to my report in item 5, is that the roundabout and the road, other than a few minor highways issues, is ready to go. What they are waiting for is West Suffolk landscape officer to agree the landscaping. So after that meeting the next day, I spoke to, in fact, Stuart McAdam phoned me from Persimmon, really asking me for advice on the social media website type of side of things. So I asked him about that, and he explained it. So then I spoke to Penny Mills, the planning officer. In fact, I phoned her about the Great Willesey, but we started talking about North West as well. what they're looking at doing is trying to approve the first stage of the bypass from a landscaping point of view, so the work can start before the bird nesting season. And by the time they get to, like, say, phase 2, if you like, if you want to call it that, they will approve it so they could just continue on. You know, it's about a 12 to 15 month build minimum. So they hope to do that, but they're both concerned because I explained, you know, as much as we said at the meeting on the planning meeting, is that the you know, delaying it another 6 months is not just unacceptable to the people who live up there and the Great Willesey side. It's also the people in Withersfield Road, which that road is, you know, is one of the reasons for that road is to reduce the amount of nitrous oxide levels in that road. Now, at the moment, of course, you know, there's not a lot of traffic about. But I think once we all start getting out of lockdown, I think we're going to be quite surprised about how many people are going to be driving everywhere. So that's, hopefully, we'll have some good news in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. I just have one further question, but maybe you can shed some light on. During the planning meeting, at some length, Stuart McAdam was talking about how the planning officer and somebody called Colin, there was a working party. Now, my concern is that the development for the 4-storey building, which to a man in Haverhill, I can't find anybody who seems to think that it's a good plan. My concern is that the planning team have already gone through a process of negotiation in the creation of these redrafted plans, which leads me to a concern that these are going to get kind of supported because of officer involvement in the process. I just wanted your thoughts regarding that process. There was no local consultation within that working party for the development of the gateway idea, much as I welcome the move of the 4-storey buildings away from where it was in Sucklings. It's more about process and where you see this going from here. How much local capital have we got in terms of influencing this decision, or is it a bit of a slam dunk already because of the officer involvement?
Don't forget, Joe, that the actual application will come to the Town Council Planning Committee because it was only registered that day. So there, you know, I know you mentioned a bit earlier on you didn't think there was another period of consultation. There is a period of consultation which is running right now, and then it will come back to the thing. I mean, there's not a working party as far as I know. I think these, you know, Penny Mills' office is the planning officer, and this Colin is, what was he, the urban design officer, I think it was called. I can't remember his surname. I did write it down somewhere. But there's just the two of them. That, you know, that's the normal planning process. As ward members, or anybody else for that matter, can, you know, raise objections, comments, support, whatever, to applications. So, you know, first time I'd heard of this Colin person, I didn't even know we had an urban design officer. You know, so they've been talking about it, and that's why it's now come to the planning committee in terms of that. And of course, it will go through the whole process of, you know, looking at material objections, and eventually come, you know, presumably it may or may not, you know, it depends on if there's any objections. It could go to delegated panel, but if there are objections, then we'll obviously go to full development control. Sorry, but I don't know anything about this working. I don't think it's a working party. I think it's just two officers talking to the developers as they would do in pre-applications. Councillor Lucarini.
Colin Dunnigan, I think.
Oh, Dunnigan, yeah, I've written it down, but I can't find it now.
It should be on the screen at the moment if your screen looks the same as mine.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I'm looking at the moving pictures, Colin, not at the static one. Sorry. Yeah, urban designer. Yeah. So yeah, I think we, you know, get residents to have a look at the plans, Joe, and obviously at the town council meeting, whenever that is. So I guess this will come up for discussion again.
Yeah, I was fully aware of that process. It just seems to have had because it's a redraft. It's not the initial plans, because the initial plans were rejected. It's a redraft, and I'm aware we're entering a period of consultation. My main concern is the officer involvement in the redrafting of these plans. And yes, we've got a consultation, and yes, it will go to town council. It just seems a different involvement from our planning officers in the creation of these plans. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think one of the things is, I think was mentioned at the meeting last week, is the lack of community engagement from Persimmon. And that's why I suggested about the website and social media and all this sort of stuff. And I think, that's why Stuart called me the next day. I think he's very conscious of the fact that they've not been very proactive in talking to residents early on in the procedure. Because if, unlike, if you talk about the one on the other side of the road, they came to us many times, actually going back probably best part of 15, 20 years to ask residents what they want. This one appears to be the landowner sold it to the developer, and the developer said, right, we've been told what we're going to be building. Let's get on with it.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, on that basis, can I have a proposer for accept the minutes, please? Councillor Hanlon. Seconder, please. I've lost somebody. Councillor Dave Smith. All those in favour, please show. Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. That's for both sets of minutes, of course. 8 Bravo, the energy and sustainability, to move the adoption of the minutes held on the 9th of February, which Colin is just putting on the screen now. I assume you've read these as well. Just scrolling through. And if I could have a proposer, please. Councillor Stinchcombe, seconded by Councillor Brown. All those in favour, please show. Lovely, thank you very much. Right, 8 Bravo, number 1. Why? Recommendation for the lighting system of the zone, which you've had a document on, which developed by Ben Prickett from our tech team and Dylan. Did you want? Do you think you wanted to say on this, Colin?
No, hopefully it's
very straightforward.
So it's to take the recommendation that the LED lighting at the zone be approved. I'm just trying to find where it is. Oh yeah. So ES20 007A.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just I've got it up here, but I'm just trying to. Can we remember what the somewhere in there was the total cost, wasn't there?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. What's it?
Can you see it on screen?
Yeah. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, in light of lockdown easing, will it be possible to get all this done before the zone opens? Or
sadly, yes. The children's indoor play is in one of the last tranches of businesses to reopen.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, good news.
I think we're looking for June for the opening.
Yeah. For
that. Right. I don't know if anyone's got any questions about the report itself. Councillor Hanlon. Then Councillor Marks.
Yeah, this is a win-win situation. Obviously, there's a bit of cost up front, but in the end, we're going to save money and help the environment. And I fully recommend we accept this. Thank you.
Is that a proposal, Pat?
Yes, that's a proposal. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Marks. Will you?
Yeah, I struggle because of my cataracts. I struggle to read a lot of stuff on screen. I just wanted to ask a question that I couldn't see in the report, but I may have missed it. Is are we doing this simply because it's the right thing to do for energy efficiency, or is there a real benefit cost saving in this? And I couldn't see that, but I may have missed it.
There is a long-term benefit saving in terms
You know what that is, Colin?
the figures are actually on screen in terms of the reduced usage.
It's tiny. I can't.
So in terms of wattage, they're expecting something like from just under 4,000 watts.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, no, I can't see that. Yeah, but we don't know what that translates to in terms of money, I take it. So
well, it depends a little bit in terms of where costs go for power, but clearly we'll be using less power in the first place. But of course, it all feeds into the council's desire to become carbon neutral in any case, and also in terms of resilience in lowering the running costs of the project.
Yeah. It's about 2/3 reduction in energy usage, but I would also argue that it's also about the atmosphere in the building, particularly up in the offices upstairs, where we've now got nice LED, evenly spread lighting rather than fluorescent tubes.
So do you know over what time scale? And I appreciate you don't know what the cost of energy, although looking at the figures for energy, they look likely to rise according to data. Any idea over what time scale we would recover the costs of this, or is that not a practical sort of thought?
Well, my understanding is that this is within 10 years. We would certainly break even, but as you say, it depends on cost of power. So if cost of power shot up, then we would save
it faster
as a result.
Yeah, that's super. Sorry, I didn't equate those figures, and they're quite tiny, but thank you for that. That was helpful.
Yeah, I suspect actually it's going to be a lot quicker than that, but yeah, I mean, even 10 years is pretty good.
I have to say that the zone particularly isn't the most economic to run building, so it is, of course, the worse your building is to begin with, the far faster your savings are.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the current rate. We're paying what, 13 pence per kilowatt. So every hour we're going to be saving roughly about 26 pence. So work that out over a period of time. Yeah. All right.
It's not open all the time, though.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Pat. Sorry, Colin.
The building's not open all the time.
No, I know it's not. But when it is, there's a lot of lights on. Proposed by Councillor Hanlon. Can I have a seconder, please? I think I saw Councillor Liz Smith very quickly. So all those in favour, please, for the zone LED lighting upgrade. Lovely, that's carried. Thank you. 8B. 2, the recommendation to approve the sustainability policy, which has been through the Energy and Sustainability Working Party. It's on screen. Anybody have any comments on this at all? There may be some minor grammatical changes, but hopefully not now.
Well, they've been taken into account.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this at all? Comments? If nobody's got any comments, can I then have a proposal, please? Councillor Stinchcombe, followed by Councillor Dave Smith. So all those in favour, please, of adopting this policy. Thank you very much. Thanks, Colin. And finally, on this section, to consider a proposal for the lighting system at the Arts Centre, also developed by Ben and Dylan, with input from others. And again, this is obviously a bigger project because there's a lot more lights and a lot more old-fashioned lights to replace. The Energy and Sustainability group obviously met and discussed this, and then a later group from the officers of the council met and looked at literally every single light in the building to decide what needed replacing, what didn't need replacing, etc., etc. And you can see
as a result of that meeting, is that the expectation is around about £6,246, because this cost was assuming some lights that subsequently we've said that are not worth changing at this point.
The benefit of Margaret, roughly about 2 kilowatt saving. And that that excludes any other actions that may happen in the building in terms of things like freezers in the kitchens, for example, and excludes obviously stage lighting, which eventually will be another project, because some of those probably need to be LEDs.
Here, there's less likely to be particularly huge cash savings. This is more about the carbon neutral side of things, and it will make us more resilient. But there's the cost of changing quite a few light units, but the real savings will come from things like heat and vent, etc., which just are big projects. And the committee felt that it needed to get on and act now, rather than spend an awful lot of time trying to identify the thing using the most power, whilst in the meantime we're using that power.
Yeah, I sort of emphasised what I was told was quite a few of the lights, well, they are 25 plus years old, and they're fragile. If they're touched to replace a lamp or something like that, they can fail, and they're not replaceable anyway.
And this also includes upgrades where the lighting in certain environments doesn't meet best practice or even some legislation. So you've seen a change of emergency lighting, but also office lighting, etc.
Stage lighting, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so the stage lighting, as John pointed out, is a separate issue. The stage lighting uses massive amounts of electricity for a minute, a second. So you take a strobe, for example. A strobe is incredibly powerful, but it's on for a matter of seconds and off for half that time. So it would cost tens of thousands of pounds to change to stage lighting, which of course spends 95% of the time switched off.
Yeah. I mean, there may be some benefit of changing some, but that's another matter. In terms of health and safety of people climbing up and changing gels on lamps for certain directors who don't like a particular colour of blue or something.
Yeah, there's lots of reasons for upgrading the stage lighting, but saving energy is not necessarily the leading one.
That's right. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, can you thank Ben and Dylan, I think, on behalf of all of us for this report? Because I mean, 16 pages has done a real lot of hard work on this. Yeah, very comprehensive. Yeah, they've done a good job.
Yeah,
I will do.
Yeah,
thank you. Right, any other comments at all? In that case, could I have a proposer, please? Councillor Lucarini, quickly followed by Councillor Dave Smith. All those in favour, please show. Lovely, that's carried. Thank you very much. Right, item 8C for Charlie, Finance Committee. This was deferred from last time, held on the 19th of January. Assuming no comments, can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Liz Smith. I don't know why I'm moving like that. It doesn't make any difference to looking at you. Seconder, please. Councillor Pat Hanlon. Sorry, Pat. All those in favour, please show. Lovely, that's carried. Thank you. Right, item 9, to authorise payments totaling £17,006.35. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Elaine McManus, followed by Councillor Margaret Marks. All those in favour, please show. Lovely, thank you very much. Item 10, to receive any urgent correspondence, Colin.
There's none received.
Okay. Yeah. Right, item 11, amendments to the council calendar. So, we've got item A and B are basically the same time as was proposed for the 11th of May, to bring it forward by a week to the 4th of May, primarily due to the fact we can obviously do an online session. We have no idea what's going to be happening in terms of council meetings yet, and obviously we'll get on to item 11E in a minute. While I'm talking about this, obviously this is the annual meeting where we change mayoralty, is that the right word? Or something like that. I have no idea what the plans are, and I'm not asking for any suggestions or anything now, but if you could all come up with ideas about, and I'm not undermining Liz here, just saying about mayor and deputy mayor for the next admin year starting in May. Who do you want to go to? Me, Colin, or you?
Doesn't have to go to anybody at this stage, of course, but historically, there's been a meeting a few weeks before, a couple of weeks before the annual meeting of the council, so that if there is any disagreement over nominations or multiple nominations, they can be resolved. The practical reason for that is simply down to the fact that in normal cases, we would be inviting the family of the heir presumptive to be able to come along, because obviously it's a big thing to be made mayor of your town, and it's nice to have the family there to see it, and it's therefore useful if the families aren't witness to a heated debate over who it should be and who it shouldn't be. And I've sat through that, and it can be very ugly. So we usually try and do these things behind closed doors, so it's a little bit ceremonial, and that's not uncommon. That's how a lot of town councils and no doubt district councils approach these things. The main issue we have, and I think the government may well have painted itself into a corner when the Prime Minister stood up today, because gatherings aren't allowed until the 17th of May, but the legislation that allows gatherings of councillors to meet online expires 10 days earlier. So I think there's going to be increased pressure on the community secretary to explain exactly how that's supposed to happen. But that's why parish councils are up and down the land are busy bringing their meetings forward, so that councillors can meet online. Otherwise, after the 7th of May, we would have to meet face to face as the law currently stands, which clearly is a big issue. A lot of places, including ourselves, as we discovered, you may recall the first hybrid meeting that we had for I think in March. It was we had 10 councillors present in the auditorium, not the studio, and we couldn't have fitted an 11th one in. So how we would fit all 16 in, it's not entirely clear. And that's us with an auditorium at our disposal. I think of Boxford, who are a little parish council with 6 people crammed into something that's about 10 foot by 10 foot, is really going to struggle.
Yeah. So I'll come back to you, Tony, in a minute. Then obviously that would mean the planning meeting would have to be rescheduled. And as item D says, other meetings may be cancelled or rescheduled, depends what the government say, and finally you send the letter. So Councillor Brown first.
Yeah, no, I think the question's been answered by Colin, to be fair.
Okay.
I was just going to say, it would be good to actually meet face to face again sometime in the near future. Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen much before, as Colin says, based on what we're seeing at the moment. Councillor Dave Smith.
Wouldn't it be worth moving the meeting back then rather than forward to after the 17th, when I know you say this emergency regulation is expires, but I have no doubt that will be extended if necessary. So if we can meet after the 17th, why don't we move the town meeting back to after the 17th of May?
You can do. Obviously, the agenda was published before that. But bear in mind, the government has said that any changes any time between now, with step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, will bump everything so that there's a 5-week gap between the steps, so that if there is any delay, it won't be the 17th of May, it'll be the 24th of May or the 31st of May. So we're opting for certainty rather than speculation. The difficulty we have is that the law says we have to hold the annual meeting in a certain window, and then we have another law that says that the opportunity to have it remotely is going to run out, and we have another law that says you're not allowed to meet all together in the same place on a different date altogether. Now, obviously, you can't plan a pandemic very easily. So, and 1972 is where some of these are coming back from. So it's just unfortunate that the regulations on their own stand scrutiny, but when you put them all next to each other, it doesn't quite work. And I think it's difficult for the government of the day to be able to juggle every single ball in the air. I agree with you. I think this will get shifted. I can't see how the community secretary can avoid doing that. But we can't operate on that sort of guesswork. We can move the meeting now, and then if something comes along to change our minds, we can revisit the issue. We've got the March meeting where we could revisit this if actually something came out sooner. But in terms of being sure that we can meet sometime before the 31st of May, we simply don't know.
Okay, so going back then, so is it possible then to have a formal handing over, if you like, May the 4th, but a ceremonial event later on when we're able to meet in person?
Councillors can decide to do whatever they wish. They can have a celebration of the new mayoralty when it happens, certainly. And yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate again because we kind of held over for a second year because we were hoping that whoever becomes mayor next time around will get the chance to go to events and have a celebration. And of course, as we've seen from the mayoral reports, they've been pretty well nothing at all because nobody's inviting any mayor to anything. So yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea to me to when we get the chance to celebrate properly. And I'm quite sure that when we're allowed to, a lot of people will be up for some form of celebration.
Yeah, I think.
Is that okay, Dave?
A week-long one, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it was going to be that long, but I know. Councillor Hanlon and then Councillor Mason.
Yeah, I think what Councillor Smith has just said is a very good idea. And I'd like to propose that we go for that. Obviously meet on the 4th and then celebrate whenever. I think it's a brilliant idea. Thank you, Chair. Okay,
Councillor Mason.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. I'm willing to second if a proposal is.
Right, can I ask that we then, as we got 11A through E, that we're accepting all 5 things, including whether we write a letter or at least find out from SALC or NALC, and hopefully the government will actually announce it rather than wait until. Go on, Colin.
Sorry, Chair. I would suggest A, B, and C, as D and E are rather different subjects.
Okay, that's fine.
It's just thought in terms of D, it's just aware that our colleagues at Woodbridge Town Council, they've gone to, if you like, the extreme end of the continuum, and they've done A and B. And then what they've said for D, obviously C doesn't count for them, what they've said for D is that they've given their clerk full delegated authority and decided not to have another meeting until October. That is is not quite what we're thinking here, but I'm giving the opportunity under D for that discussion. So I just think it probably wouldn't be a good idea to take that in is en masse.
Make life ever so quiet if we did go for that, wouldn't it? You know.
Not for me, it wouldn't.
No, okay, but that's fine. But you know, right, okay. In that case, let's do A, B, and C then, which is to bring forward by a week unless something dramatically changes in terms of the government or the COVID or whatever, from the 11th to the 4th of May. And then the planning meeting, which is scheduled for the 4th of May, will defer to the week later, or or something like that. Depends on what happens. Are you happy to accept that, Councillor Hanlon?
Yeah, I propose it actually.
Yeah. And Councillor Mason, as you seconded the other one?
Yeah.
Are you happy with that? Yeah. Okay, so we can have a show of hands in, please, for that. Lovely, thank you very much. Then moving on to item D for Delta. Well, as I said, it depends what the government does. And are you still planning to write a letter? Is this from the Town Council or through SALC or NALC? Or?
Well, the proposal is for the
us,
council under E, but just to be clear on D, the question to councillors is, now we know from this afternoon, if from the 17th of May, under social distancing rules, it is possible to hold meetings face to face, and the government doesn't change the law, so therefore that is the only method available. Our councillor is happy to meet face to face from the 17th of May, however we achieve it. Neither hybrid meetings and online meetings, assuming that they are no longer lawful. If they're happy to go ahead with that, then we can start working out how we achieve it. But it could be that some councillors are not happy with the prospect of meeting so soon, and therefore would prefer that if we weren't able to meet remotely, then meetings may be cancelled or rescheduled until such time as sufficient councillors are confident to meet face to face.
Be nice. It'll be nice in May. You can meet outside, you know. But no, okay, so item D for Delta. Any thoughts on that? Oh, sorry, Councillor Marks.
Yeah, only John, slightly confused because from June, it seems like we're going to just be able to meet normally anyway. So 17th of May to June is no distance at all, and provided things go in the right direction, they're saying that we'll be relatively back to normal by the 21st of June. So so the 21st of June, people will just be meeting up everywhere anyway.
Yeah, I was a bit confused by that statement this afternoon, considering that, you know, there's a hell of a lot of under 50s who are not going to have their vaccination done by then.
I think you'll find that they probably, I mean, they're ratcheting up a pace. There's 3,000 vaccinators now.
I know, but it's not that. It's the fact there will still be those people who have not had it.
Well, I think you'll find what with 4 vaccines coming on stream, I think you won't see the problems we had early on.
No, I'm not saying there will be, but I'm just saying that it's 2 different dates here. One is June and one is July. You know, it's completely different.
Yeah, 21st of June, I think they were saying, but I think, you know, if you're not going to be happy on the 17th of May, you're not likely to be happy when everything comes off stream on the 21st of June.
I'd be interested to see what people like West Suffolk are doing, because they have been talking about post-COVID still having hybrid meetings anyway.
They are, and that's because with 64 councillors, they could never be in a position. They don't have a facility where we could meet with any social distancing.
I understand.
So they are talking about doing that already. Yeah.
But it's also the fact is of things, people driving 40 miles to go to a meeting and things like that. You know, they've got a climate change policy as well.
So Colin's going to talk to Salk and now can get some sort of thought process from them anyway, aren't you, Colin?
Yes, and the SLCC and NALC are they've I think paid for, I believe, I may be wrong, but there's a group of public sector barristers who are seeking a judicial ruling on whether if you squint at the 1972 Act, whether there's actually anything in it that prevents remote working, given that it's obviously silent on the idea of Zoom. Therefore, does it actually preclude in any way sense? It's a matter of the definition of the word place. And if the internet counts as a place, then the argument is that this.
I don't think in the 17th, 18th century that was a question they could have answered, possibly, Colin. So there may need to be some adjustment of that policy. But really, do we have to make a decision on something where we don't really?
But this is only for noting anyway. This is only for noting this bit.
All right, John. Thank you.
No, you can also decide not to note it either. You can just decide to defer the discussion until there's more understanding. It was only because obviously we got March meeting would only give us a month before revision date for the annual town meeting, etc. And we need to put that in place. But the next two bits, D and E, are not things you need to choose. Like everything else on the agenda, you can always defer these decisions.
Anyone want to propose D for noting? It's only for noting at the end of the day. Councillor McManus? Councillor Stinchcombe, seconded. So we're just doing this for noting at the moment on D. So all those in favour, please show. That's fine. Then going on to item E, which is to write to Robert Jenrick as a town council. There may obviously be other parish and town councils in South and Nalk and nobody else writing to him. So we may have a rather large inbox coming up. So proposed by Alan Stinchcombe, is that? Yep. Seconded by Councillor Liz Smith. All those in favour, please show. Okay, thank you very much. Right, item 12, date next meeting, Monday the 30th of March, as Colin just said. Sorry, Councillor Hanlon.
Yeah, that's Tuesday.
Okay, I haven't even checked that either.
I did email Colin, but obviously he hasn't seen it.
No, I have seen it, so yes.
All right, so Tuesday the 30th of March, and I've actually got it in my diary anyway, so.
Yeah, thank you, Pat, for letting me know. And yes, I should have got in there first with that.
That's me looking on Sunday I looked at the minutes and didn't check the agenda. Right, item 13, to exclude the press and public, because we need to talk about Bevan House. So can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Marks, followed by Councillor McManus. All those in favour, please show. Great, thank you.